Good morning. Thank you all so much for being here. This morning I'm here with my team and of course partners, where we're really speaking about the excessive heat, unprecedented heat that we are experiencing in the city of New Orleans, and we do not anticipate it lifting up any time soon, meaning throughout now through our 4th of July festivities, and of course when we're hosting thousands of visitors in our city as well. But I'm joined by our representative and strong partner with the National Weather Service, Mr. Benjamin Schott. I have, of course, our Director of Homeland Security, Emergency Preparedness, that is Mr. Colin Arnold, joined also by Chief Bill Summeron with EMS, of course, Nathaniel Fields, who serves as our Director of the Office of Homeless Services and Strategy. We also have, of course, our Director Chief of Public Safety and Homeland Security with us, and representatives from our Health Department. You should know that, we learned, a lot, even from the Juneteenth weekend. We see and we saw that we experienced heat. The index that was over 119 degrees in some areas of the city like New Orleans, East, and the like. And so that forced us in a real way to meet the needs of our people, as we always do, to activate hydration stations and cooling centers throughout our city, utilizing our recreation facilities as well as partners and the like. We are activating those same types of programs that we did experience Juneteenth, but that is moving forward into the 4th of July weekend. So I'm told that we'll have temperatures that feel like 115 to 120 degrees in our city. And again, through Tuesday, July the 4th. You're going to hear from Mr. Schott more about this. I also talked about having Nate here because we will be talking about how we are focusing on our most vulnerable people in our city, those who are street homeless, as well as, focusing on just our senior population as well. We have the Health Department that's here to speak on that, but again, this is through the utilization of our recreation centers, using them as cooling centers, hydration stations. They are not shelters for homeless. They're not shelters. They are cooling and hydration centers. These opportunities and efforts are really made possible because my administration just continues to demonstrate fiscal sound and solidness and just solid practices relative to our spending, and being very conservative in that manner, especially as we look at our fund balance. It's healthy for a reason, but again, we say climate has changed. It's already changed. We're at the forefront of it, first lines of it, and we're experiencing it now even more so relative to heat. We will continue to always do after action reports and assessments so that we can do better every single time. We're also understanding that weather STEM, we deployed over 20 weather STEM sites throughout the city, and what we're seeing is just the data from there is really telling us even where heat is more excessive than other places in the city, but then that also helps us deploy and drive resources, again, being very strategic and intentional about the deployment of these resources. I'm going to stop now. I'm going to ask Mr. Schott to come forward. Then we're going to hear from Colin, and we'll hear from Chief Summeron, and then Nate, and we'll fall in order as I've talked about. So Ben, you want to come on up? Benjamin.
I want to thank the mayor for having me this morning. Talk a little bit about the unprecedented heat event that we're getting ready to see here in the city of New Orleans and across our area. As the mayor mentioned, we're possibly going to have heat indices pushing 115 to 120 degrees from now all the way through maybe the weekend and even into the holiday weekend if a certain number of the computer models end up being right at that point. So we know for a fact that at least the next 5 days to 6 days we're going to be under this excessive heat here in the area. The actual afternoon temperatures may approach 100 or even equal or exceed 100 over the course of the next 5 to 6 days. And we also know that the overnight temperatures are going to struggle to get to below 80 which is important because with warm temperatures like that in the overnight, it's hard for the human body to be able to recover from the excessive heat and humidity from the day. A couple other quick items when it comes to the heat here is when you're talking about a city environment, you have a lot of concrete, asphalt, so it heats up quicker in the morning, and it also holds on to that heat longer during the day. So outside of the city, you will have a little bit quicker cooling down in the evening, but we won't have that within the city environment itself. So because of that, again, it puts an extra burden on the population, especially if they don't have the means for air conditioning or ways to cool themselves inside, away from the heat outdoors. So with that, again, we're going to be working with this unprecedented heat event over the course of the next 5 days. We'll continue to probably we will have heat warnings out through the next 5 to 6 days, and we'll continue to monitor the situation. The one thing that I will add at the very end is there is a chance for the isolated thunderstorm for cooling each day, but the problem with that is that as soon as that one storm moves away, temperatures are going to spike right back up, and also that little bit of moisture that does get into the ground can help increase the humidity for that day and the days further. So with that, I will turn it back to the mayor again. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, Mr. Schott, and we'll hear from Colin Arnold.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. It's always on a weekend, a holiday weekend, right? The New Orleans Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness will be activating our City Emergency Operations Center to Level 3 Crisis Action Team for this excessive heat warning period, which means we will be very closely monitoring these dangerously hot temperatures every day, having unified command group calls every day, in addition to our support for Essence Fest and the July 4th festivities. These dangerously hot temperatures, as you've already heard from the mayor and from Ben, are unprecedented, both for this time of year and just in general for the temperatures and the length of time that we're looking at. It just has not occurred certainly in recent memory. And certainly from what we're getting from National Weather Service, it's June. We're certainly not out of the woods as far as this occurring again throughout this summer, so we'll continue to be watching this. Extreme heat is dangerous because continued exposure can push your body beyond its limits. If your body can't cool itself off fast enough, permanent damage and even death can occur. What I'd like to do is acknowledge the partners who have helped coordinate the city's response, and it's a proactive response in this effort for the upcoming week and 2 weeks ago for the Juneteenth heat event that we had. And that, of course, is the National Weather Service. Nate Fields with the Mayor's Office of Homeless Services and Strategies has just been on point. Johnny on the spot has really helped us out as far as getting to that vulnerable group of unhoused individuals. And if we're being completely candid, that is the group that is going to suffer the most from what we're going to experience over the next few weeks. Next week. So we want to make sure that we're addressing that part of our population. NOHSEP and its CEO, Larry Barabino, just incredible. This is our second year of working with Larry in emergency resource centers, cooling centers, and they've been very accommodating to us, as well as the health department and property management. We have some community centers that will come online as well. Our library system has been great. All of these public facilities that are open during the day that have air conditioning have really turned out for us to help. And I can't mention EMS enough as well in helping us with this. So through the city's emergency preparedness campaign, NOLA Ready, we've launched a heat relief map. I highly encourage all of our residents and visitors to go to our website, ready.nola.gov. We've got a lot of information on this map about the resources, places you can get bottles of water, places you can go in and get a brief respite from the heat and cool down. We've added the pools and our aquatics from NOHSEP in there. I think that's extremely important. Please check out that map. We'll update it constantly because look, these hours of operation change throughout the week and on the weekends, and we want to make sure that people are getting the most current information that they can. One of the other things, we wanted to add the aquatics. As we know, last spring, we had a tragedy on the river, children swimming in the river. That's certainly something we're concerned about. We had our briefing with the mayor today for Essence and the July 4th, and we know there's fireworks and a lot of things going down on the river. So both the Port of New Orleans and the Coast Guard are on point and ready to respond in case they do see people in the water. They do treat people in the river as a person overboard or a search and rescue type mission. And I just want to encourage all of our residents especially, do not swim in the river. It's going to be hot, but avail yourselves of one of those Nord pools if you can. Some other tips is knowing the signs of heat stroke and heat exhaustion saves lives. If you have a neighbor, a friend, a family member who you suspect may be in a situation where they need help, get them the help they need. If you can provide some immediate care, that's great. Call 911. Get the public service activity in motion to help that person. Take frequent breaks in the shade or in air conditioning. Drink plenty of water, even if you're not thirsty. Be sure to check on the older adults, as I mentioned, and bring pets indoors, provide shade and water for them. As I've mentioned with hurricane season and many other things, the best thing you can do is stay connected with us. You can text NOLA READY to 77295. If you speak Spanish and would prefer emergency alerts in Spanish, text ESP to 77295. Follow us on social media at NOLA READY. Again, our website, ready.nola.gov. As the mayor mentioned, we're using our weather STEM sites, which have very good archived weather data to pinpoint where the heat is affecting the city the most, and then we're dovetailing that information with what we get from calls for service from EMS and fire department, what we get from Nate and his work with our unhoused individuals, and what we're getting from the sites with NORD and the public libraries. And so we're able to be nimble and agile and get out there, and if a center is not needed, we'll close it and we'll go somewhere else where it is needed. And I think that is a game plan for success in getting us through this heat. And again, talk to your neighbors. Please look after family members and friends, and much appreciated, and we'll get through this heat through the weekend. At this time, I'll call up Chief Bill Salmeron from New Orleans EMS.
Thank you, Colin. Chief?
Thank you, Mayor. New Orleans EMS will have additional resources citywide, particularly in the hospitality zone and on-site at the Memorial Convention Center throughout the weekend for Essence Fest as well as July 4th. Acadian Ambulance will have resources on-site at Superdome for Essence Festival, as well as additional units assigned to us in support of citywide 911 operations under our annual surge contract. Additionally, we'll also be utilizing some fire department personnel to place additional units in the hospitality zone to accommodate the increase in call volume. No matter where you are, call 911 if you have an emergency, police, fire, or EMS emergency, and 311 for any non-emergency needs. We have seen an increase in heat-related calls as we do in the height of summer, and ask that you take the following precautions to stay safe and healthy during this extreme heat. I know Colin went over a few of them already. Stay indoors during the hottest part of the day and avoid any unnecessary exposure to the sun. If you must perform outdoor activities, please do so early in the morning or late in the evening. Wear light-colored, loose-fitting clothing and a hat. Our bodies need water. I'll make a shameless plug for water, right? Our bodies need water to survive. Even if you're not thirsty, drink water, right? Soft drinks, juices, alcohol are not suitable replacements for, and they contain water, but they're not the same. And so please drink water. If you're not thirsty, drink water. Stay hydrated is very, very important. That is the best way, other than staying out of the heat, to beat the heat and not suffer from heat exhaustion, heat stroke, whatever it is. So please drink water.
And waiting until you're thirsty
is
not the time. You're already behind the 8 ball. Drink
right.
water.
Just drink water.
Please.
Certainly we want you to enjoy whatever you're doing. So if you're drinking alcohol or whatever, please moderate. Drink water often, right? So definitely that. The very young, the elderly, and those with chronic medical conditions are at greatest risk for heat-related illness and should take extra precautions to stay cool and hydrated. Please regularly, as Colin said, please regularly check on your neighbors, children, the elderly, and chronically ill to make sure that they're okay, make sure they don't need anything. Of course, if you have a medical emergency, if you are concerned about someone, call 911 or 311 to have some additional resources to come check on them. As Colin said, please do not leave children and pets in cars. That's a no-no. Please don't do that, right? Just cracking windows do not help. Just please just don't even try to do it. If you find that you have either a pet or an unattended child or anybody in a vehicle that can't get out, please certainly call 911 immediately. As Colin said, please stay informed. Register for the NOLA alerts. They are very important. They do have a lot of great information for you. And on behalf of the New Orleans EMS team, we welcome everyone and hope you have a great Essence experience in July 4th holiday. So thank you very much. Drink your water. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief, very much. And I'm going to ask Mr. Nathaniel Fields to come forward in regards to our homeless services and outreach.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you, everyone. Just wanted to let everyone know that we have activated shelter in space. So at any point in time throughout the day, the persons who are currently in shelter can stay in shelters for that time period. They've also extended cooling centers and hours to those individuals as well. And we have also activated all the outreach teams. We will be out serving, and when I say we, myself and the health department will be out serving individuals from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every morning starting today. From this date forward, we will be always checking into all of the shelters to make sure that they are taken care of, and any needs that come up, that we definitely help them as best we can. And we will also make sure that we are consistently checking on the persons in every encampment, letting them know that we do have shelter available if they would like to take advantage of it, and also helping them get connected to those services as well. This is a health crisis, everyone, and all those persons who are the most vulnerable need our assistance the most. So in this point in time, I will be deferring all my services directly to the individuals who are street homeless. So please, at any point in time, if you are in contact with an individual who needs our assistance, my email address is nathaniel.fields@nola.gov. Please make sure that you connect those persons to me as soon as possible so that we can make sure we've got eyes on that individual and help them getting connected to services. Thank you again, Madam Mayor. Thank you, everyone, for being here.
Thank you so much. All right, and so with that, Health Department, we good? Okay, very good, and we'll turn it over to you, Gregory, questions and answers.
Ben?
Yeah, I have off-topic questions concerning Tyrell Morris.
This is
Do we have any
about
questions?
heat advisory. This
based on
is
the
a
heat?
health threat
Are we taking off-topic questions today?
right now.
Let's get to the
Let's-
heat
Please
first.
do. And I will have my traditional
Briefing
Wednesday
tomorrow.
briefing on tomorrow. Today, heat advisory, health threat, health crisis, City of New Orleans. Yes, ma'am.
Would you say that we've experienced these types of temperatures before? I know, Gregory, you were saying that we haven't experienced this since like the 1980s.
I asked that question actually this morning in my briefing, and Mr. Schott indicated that as they've done extensive research, this is unprecedented. So we're living now in unprecedented times, and we will be flexible as much as we need to be to meet the needs of our people. And even sometimes you say flexible is still too rigid. So we're going to do everything necessary, again, to meet the needs of the most vulnerable, but also give out accurate, timely information and data sets so that our residents and visitors can respond accordingly.
Ms. Curtis?
I have no on-topic questions, I have off-topic questions, if you want to come back.
Thank you.
Fox 8?
I have both, but on this, are you curtailing any activities by city employees whose jobs require them to be outside?
So because and since we are a destination city, this is a holiday weekend, hopefully it will have our residents and our visitors focus on those folks who are always boots on the ground in service to one another. And so we're depending on our folks to continue to show up and do what they do best. And I would say extend some gratitude, you know, in the spirit of humility, because it's these people that we depend on every single day, especially to host major events like this. And let me say this, some of our buildings, when we talk about this extreme heat, some of our facilities are impacted by it, but our people are still working. And one in particular is our NOPD headquarters, for example. So I have New Orleans Police Department or officers in different areas throughout the city because it is extreme heat levels in that building now, and we're on the ground making sure that we make those repairs. But our people are living it just like our residents are, but they're continuing to do the job. Show up.
I have an off-topic question, so everyone
Kenny?
else has an off-topic first.
There's not much we can do about the heat, but we do have snowballs here in New Orleans. So Mayor Cantrell, your favorite go-to snowball and why?
You know what? I'm gonna, listen. I almost wore my shirt this morning that had the snowball on it. It looked so good. But I would say Snola right now. That's one of my favorites. That's my daughter's go-to right now. But you know what? I can't pick and choose. I go to all of them. They're all fabulous. And they're businesses that are meeting our people where they are. So everybody gets Snowball. So thank you so much.
What's your flavor?
Mayor?
You know, mine is wedding cake with condensed milk. And that's also the best for an outfit because it won't stain your clothes.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you
So
very
we're off
much.
topic? Can we
Any
now?
off-topic questions?
No, we're done here, folks.
Yeah, I'm doing my
We
weekly
got
briefing
briefing
on tomorrow.
I have a question about Tyrone Morris, though.
We've got a briefing
I think
tomorrow.
it's pretty